Good morning, Dubai, and happy Thursday from me, Farah Bashir, and
Farah Makhlouf.
I mean, it's always odd having another Farah talking to another Farah. It feels kind of like weird as if
When
I'm
I say
talking
your
to
name, I
myself.
feel like it's a different way of saying Farah, even though it's exactly the same name. It's just, it is what it is.
I mean, this is a battle that we still have not overcome. But let's jump to our stories for the day. Schools in Dubai will soon have AI qualified teachers.
And the UAE stands in solidarity with Kuwait following an apartment fire.
As well, 1,444 UAE companies fined for faking Emiratisation.
Dubai police rescued a woman whose car got stuck in the sand in Al Qudra Desert.
And later on the show, we are going to be meeting the youngest entrepreneur and founder of Rainbow Chimney, Al-Dhabi Al-Muhairi. It's 250 days since the genocide began on October 7 in Gaza, and the current death toll stands at 37,124. The number of injured people is 84,712, and 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes. Before we start with our stories, we have a picture here of women. And because I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this kind of like odd story of like 5 women who sat together at work. All of them got the same type of cancer, which is thyroid cancer. Of course, we feel so bad and we hope that they get better soon. But I wanted to point something that when you spend so much time with someone, you tend to pick up on a lot of things.
Yeah, but it's very strange and very unexpected that they would all be diagnosed with the same type of cancer. I feel like that's the most unexpected part.
Yeah, 100%. But like, for example, when you spend so much time with someone,
Yeah,
right? They say you are who you surround yourself with.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to not believe that for so long. I used to be like, you know what, fine. What do they mean by that? Because you do pick up on their habits, you pick up on a lot of things, and you can even pick up on diseases that they have. Because like it's I think honestly, it's kind of like maybe energy in a way.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like if I am gonna come around and be like, oh my God, the whole time, I am not feeling well, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, you will eventually not feel well because you will manifest it in your head.
You'll pick up that energy. I feel like that's 100% true. If someone is maybe constantly negative, or maybe they have just that negative energy going around like for a long time, you might pick up on that and start to feel that negative energy within you, even though you feel totally fine.
That is true. I mean, remember like when we were all sitting together, you, me, and all of our teammates, and we all kind of like got sick, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, we all got sick from the same type of sick.
Yes.
And we were like, in a way, like, okay, that's kind of like odd. Which it's kind of like weird. And it's a study, by the way, as well, like women who sit together do get their periods
At the same
time.
It starts to sink.
They sink. And I have tested this theory with my friends at work,
Yes.
you guys, my friends, my personal friends from life, from uni, from school. And it's actually a thing. And this just like makes me think like it is actually true. When you are with someone and this someone, let's say, is all about positivity, just like is not negative, motivation, all these things, you will be motivated yourself. But if you are around someone who is, let's say, oh my God, no, I can't do this. Oh my God, no, I have such a bad life and this and that. You will eventually manifest that into your own life.
Yeah, I feel like that's 100% true. And I feel like the same goes for the way a person talks and their mannerisms. If, for example, they like to smirk a lot, you'll start smirking a lot.
Yeah.
If they say a certain word a lot, you'll start picking that up and saying the same word. I feel like it's inevitable. I don't feel like it necessarily changes who you are as a person.
Yeah.
It just means like, not that you're easily influenced, but that like you hang out with that person so much that you start to adopt certain things.
That is true.
About them.
Yes.
Into your own life.
Yes, 100%. And I remember so well at university during projects. We would remember like because Farah and I went to the same university and we had the same projects and everything. We would spend long hours on our projects with editing, and it's a lot of things. But when you would spend so much time with your team members, you would actually start talking like them. And I would go back home and my mom would be like, Farah, where'd you learn that word from? Since when do you say that word?
I am so guilty of that, to be honest. I started saying a lot of weird things at some point, and I'm like, oh yeah, I picked that up during uni days.
I mean, honestly, this is like something that all the time keeps on happening.
Yeah.
So you can never know. Never know.
God forbid, the person that you're hanging out with or the people that you're hanging out with don't have anything too, hard or just something like a disease or something like that. That's not something that you really want to pick up but it is what it is. But hopefully these girls get the treatment that they
100%.
are looking for and go into.
Well, let's jump to our first story. So 1,444 UAE companies fined for faking Emiratisation. The Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation has revealed 1,444 companies in the UAE have been fined for faking Emiratisation and breaking labor policies.
The figure revealed to Al Bayan newspaper by MOHRE relates to businesses between mid-2022 and June 10, 2024, which is only a couple of days ago. It's estimated that 21,000 companies have met the required Emiratisation target.
Now, faking Emiratisation is a breach of the UAE's labor policies and occurs when a company hires a citizen without giving them genuine duties to fill. The UAE has introduced penalties ranging from 20,000 to 100,000 dirhams for companies that break the rules. Honestly,
that's a hefty fine.
It is. It's a very big fine. So companies who are taking the rules lightly and not actually implementing it are facing such big fines. So if you are listening to us in your company that you have not hired an Emirati, I think it's better to be safe than pay the 100,000 dirhams bill. It's not a small amount. It's really big. But yeah, we hope that
you don't want to be in that position.
100%.
I mean, it's not all private sector companies so we have to make that clear. It's not all private sector companies that have to fulfill this requirement. It's basically I think it's over 50. If you have over 50 employees, there has to be a certain percentage of Emiratis hired within the year. I think it's about like 2 people.
Yes.
But again, this is not something that you want to mess around with very much. It's a very serious offense, and yeah.
So let's jump to our next story.
Let's do that. The UAE conveyed its sincere condolences and expressed its solidarity with the state of Kuwait over victims of a building fire. So basically, if you don't know, there was a building fire in the Mangaf area, and it resulted in dozens of deaths and injuries. The Interior Ministry revised the death toll from 41 to 49 last night, after forensic teams scoured the charred building and over 50 were injured. Now, this building reportedly is home to workers living in Kuwait, and they're from different nationalities.
Now, in a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MOFA, expressed its sincere condolences and sympathy with the government and people of Kuwait and to the families of the victims. They also wished a speedy recovery for all of the injured.
The cause of the fire remains unknown, but 42 of the victims were Indian nationals, and the remaining victims were from the Philippines, Egypt, Nepal, and Pakistan. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of the victims.
As you said, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families. This is a very sad story. However, we are glad to have made it safe, and yeah.
Yeah, it seems to happen not a lot. I just think maybe you're seeing it a little bit more in the media because the media is starting to pick up on these kinds of stories. But this one definitely made headlines across different media outlets. So I saw that the Prime Minister of India, he tweeted out a statement saying the fire mishap in Kuwait City is saddening. My thoughts are with all those who have lost their near and dear ones. I pray that the injured recover at the earliest. The Indian Embassy in Kuwait is closely monitoring the situation and working with authorities there to assist the affected. So this story did not go lightly, even though you'd think it's not an ordinary like building
yes.
fire. This was actually a lot more major, and like this story was picked up by a lot of newspapers across the world, including the UAE. It was covered yesterday. We covered it as well because it was just, you know, that massive and that unexpected. So yeah, unfortunately, the cause of the fire was unknown, but maybe it'll be revealed soon.
100%. Well, this brings us to our next story. If you know all about AI, you might want to hear about this. So, schools in Dubai will soon have AI qualified teachers. Now, AI has been the season's topic as it is getting introduced from ChatGPT to 22 AI officers, and now His Highness Sheikh Hamdan saying that schools in Dubai will soon have qualified AI teachers.
His Highness said, in line with Dubai's annual plan to accelerate the adoption of AI applications, we announced today the launch of a program to upskill all teachers in Dubai in artificial intelligence.
Now, the initiative includes honoring on top 10 innovative teachers in the use on AI applications of artificial intelligence and to improve educational outcomes and prepare students for the future. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you something, Farah. AI, we use AI.
We
right?
do. We do.
We do. Don't you guys use ChatGPT? We do, you know, and it's slowly getting implemented into our daily life.
If you have a question, you just pop it into ChatGPT and it'll give you the answer. Maybe not 100% accurate, maybe, you know, it needs a little tweaking. It's getting there. The technology is getting there, but it's definitely something that's being used just in your daily life.
I mean, something funny is that I used to fear AI.
Really?
And I think Richard, our CEO, knows this. I keep on mentioning it all the time. Like, I fear AI.
Why?
I don't know, because I feel like, oh my God, it's just like it. I fear it. I don't know. It's like because of like robots now are handling everything. What's next? Seriously, like what's next?
It's natural to fear the unknown.
Yes.
So this is something you're unfamiliar with, you're doubt to be a little bit, you know, afraid of it because you don't know how much this technology has developed and advanced. But I use it to my advantage as long as I have it. I, you know, use ChatGPT to maybe like reduce the amount of text on a brief because I want to like understand it a little bit easier. If I want to like get something summarized so that I can better understand it, I will definitely use it. But what does scare me about AI is that I feel like it's coming for our jobs.
Slightly. This is exactly why I fear AI, because I feel like I feel the same way. And I keep on saying that. And then I honestly spoke to a lot of people because I've been to the AI retreats, I've been to several conferences, and they go like, they're not really there to take our jobs, because it's still like different when it's a human doing it rather than like a robot. But you know, it's there to maybe emphasize and maybe
make your lives easier,
better. But let's jump to our next story.
Now, this is a heartfelt story, and I really enjoyed reading it. But basically, Dubai police rescued a woman whose car got stuck in the sand in Al Qudra, which this happens a lot. But the story goes, basically, a woman and her friends went to the desert and got their car stuck in the sand, which, if you've done that, it happens a lot. They tried to get it out themselves, but with no luck. They phoned Dubai police for help, and they did not disappoint.
Now, the woman shared the video on her Instagram stories and wrote a very cute caption that said, "We decided to call the police. In less than an hour, a police came speeding towards us. The officer did not hesitate to get his hands dirty. I don't have the words to thank the officers enough."
The woman further added, "Dubai police is one of the reasons why I'm extremely proud of living in Dubai. Very kind and friendly. Kudos to Dubai police."
Well, one thing is that if you have been to Al Qudra, you must have had your car one way or another, or someday, like, I don't know, stuck in the sand.
Oh yeah, it's happened a lot.
However, the Dubai police never disappoints.
Oh yeah, no. They will come to the rescue if you just, you know, give them a quick call. They're there to help you.
100%.
It's definitely something that we love to see. We love to see Dubai police constantly helping, you know, just regular citizens, regular folks. Maybe changing even a tire. I've seen this happen so many times, or pushing a car out of the way in the road because it stalled or something like that. Dubai police are always there to help, and it's honestly, who could say, like, I feel like Dubai have some of the best police force out there.
They do. They really do. You know what I mean? And the fact that like she was like, I would say, every time this happens, a resident goes like, "Wow, thank God I live in Dubai.
Yeah.
Thank God I am. You know, like my needs are met." And what I mean by that is like, you know, like if you call the police, they're gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
You know, if I mean, we spoke about how doing all of the official paperwork are going to take 5 days.
Yeah.
And they're all the time thinking of their residents. But, of course, you guys, I don't want to say a lot because I want you to stay tuned. After this short break, we have, of course, ElHadidy, who is the youngest entrepreneur. She is so cute. She's adorable. So stay tuned to know more about her journey, and she is the founder, as I said, the Rainbow Chimney. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is ElHadidy, the youngest entrepreneur and publisher, the founder of Rainbow Chimney. She is all about introducing kids to the joy of reading. We are curious to learn more and more about her and her passion for reading. Welcome, ElHadidy, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining.
You're welcome. I hope I enjoyed today's show.
You will. We hope you enjoy with us too.
I hope so.
Yes. So, did you skip school to be here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did?
It's okay to be honest. We've all done it a few times. Okay, so we want to jump right into understanding more about Rainbow Chimney. Can you tell us more about it?
So actually I started my business Rainbow Chimney when I was about 6 to 7 years old. Mm-hmm. I started it because we know that every business is a solution to a problem. So I had a problem and I made the solution by putting a box of toys, books and activities and giving it to my friends and family who always love to be in the electronics. So they wanted to open the box, obviously.
Of course.
So I told them, if you want to open the box, there is a condition. And they had to leave all of the electronics. So they did. And then I gave them the box and they opened it. Everybody took maybe a drawing or activity, a book or a toy. And I was in the car and then I was thinking very, very hardly.
Okay.
And I was like, something's in my head, but I don't know how to say. And then just before we arrived home, I was like, I have an idea. Why don't I make a business for children about books
and
activity? So I thought, well, not of course only books. We need to have a little bit of fun into it.
Of course.
So I decided to put like some activities, some toys, and most of the books I have today are actually cloth books, sensory books, coloring books, activity books, board books, and so many more.
That's so creative.
And it works for kids of all ages as well.
Yeah. So our ages are from 0 months until 13 years.
Wow. Yeah, that opens up a very wide range.
I mean, speaking of that, how does it feel like to have the title of the youngest entrepreneur? That's so big. Like, you got the business idea at the age of 7. How does it feel like to have the title?
Honestly, when I decided to get a Guinness World Record, it was for a specific idea. I loved reading and I wanted to spread that knowledge and love to the world. So I decided to maybe get a Guinness World Record. And so I did. And from that day on, now I don't know how many kids know me, but every time I go to anywhere public, maybe I go to a mall or somewhere in Dubai or Burj Khalifa, there has to be at least one kid who comes to me and says, "Are you ElHadidy?" And I'm like, yeah.
It's such a big achievement, especially for a kid and the youngest entrepreneur as well. I have a question for you. Why do you think it's important for kids to read?
I think it's important for their knowledge, for their skills, because most of the language that I use today is higher than my whole class, since I'm really into reading. And I started even talking at the age, I started saying random words at the age of 7 months.
Wow.
So by the age of 3, I started to read and I was able to talk fluently. I think it's a great achievement to spread this knowledge to the world. And I think that's what's very important, because I care for children's education. And I think there are lots of things that you can read about. I think one of my favorite things to read about, like type of book, probably comics. Because like there's a lot of pictures and I love I love the way they're saying it. It's really fun and interactive.
That is actually nice. You know, actually I used to love comic books when I was like younger, but I was not an entrepreneur. So look at you. However, your slogan says introducing kids to the joy of reading. How do you think reading can bring enjoyment? Because like right now, everyone uses iPads, their phones, technology.
I think there are two ways to solve this problem. The first way is to read a normal book, maybe have a time limit of how long you read. Usually I read at home maybe 5 hours on the weekends. I mostly read at school in break times. Probably the whole break, 40 minutes, just reading. So I think the other solution is that there are some virtual books and it's actually augmented reality. So augmented reality is basically a book that combines the electronics and a book with it. So it's like a pop-up book, but from the iPad or iPhone or any electronic.
Yeah.
It basically, like, for example, maybe I have a dinosaur book and I think it's boring. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go and scan it from the app, and then you're gonna have basically a whole new world to enjoy. We have like so many activities to do on these books. There are many coloring pages. You can enjoy it everywhere you go, like maybe in the car, or maybe even in a bus, or sometimes even in an airplane if you're lucky.
Wow, that's actually very smart. Genius.
Yeah. Speaking of technology and books, are you a fan of like holding a book and reading it, or are you a fan of holding a Kindle or like reading it off of your phone or your laptop?
I think because at school we use the iPads that they recently involved. So we usually would read on an app for like 1 hour or 40 minutes. But I think I would prefer sticking to history and like the normal book.
Hand holding a book.
You're an old soul. You are an old soul.
Yeah.
What is your favorite book? If you have one. It's hard to choose.
Many favorite books. Many. Most of one of my books are comics, but I think what I prefer for my favorite is probably Mary Poppins, because I think that was the first chapter book that I ever read, and it's still with me at home and I keep reading it. Another one is How to Become an Entrepreneur.
Wow.
So it's basically, there's like in the front cover, the minute I saw it, it catches my attention because it's like a banana and then there's like an arrow pointing down into like a bottle of juice. So that's basically how an entrepreneur works.
Right.
Because you're taking something and making it something new.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think you are inspiring all of us to become entrepreneurs at this point and have our own business. But you are, I would say, let me say, a genius. But regarding that, disregard that. Have you written a book? Would you write a book? And have you written a book?
Actually, I have written 2 books. I'm about to publish 4. And also, I have published for 52 children.
Wow. Your own work.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 21 of them is about the environment. And actually, all of those children have written about anything they want, but I have published it for them. Because I feel like a child deserves to follow their dreams or to spread their love and kindness to the world. I think it's really important.
Well, you are very kind for all of that. You know, you are inspiring, sorry, all of the young kids. What is like if let's say we are gonna, since you're an entrepreneur and you got this idea at a very young age, what is one message that you would actually want to give out to young kids and future kids, future entrepreneur kids?
I think one message I would say to them is to start now. Because if you start from a young age, you'll learn so much more.
You're talking like a very old entrepreneur, I feel like.
Like you've had years of experience.
And also another thing is that I think our government and our wise leaders have already opened the doors to us. You don't even need to knock it.
100%.
So I think that you should just go ahead, follow your dreams. I think something that inspired me to write a book and become who I am today is probably someone that I met in Sharjah, actually. It was my first time participating in Sharjah International Book Fair. And I met lots of people there and have many conversations. Let's say probably the whole day. Let's say 10 hours. Okay. So basically, at that time, we were going to the EPA, and there was basically a conference. And they basically were talking, and my mom had no idea about anything. And I remember she was writing notes about everything. And then my dad's like in the middle, and he's basically watching what's happening and trying to understand. And me, I'm sitting down, I'm like raising my hand. And my mom doesn't even know anything. So how am I supposed to raise my hand? So actually there I met Sheikh Abdul. So I raised my hand and she saw me. So she said, I think I see a little girl in the back raising her hand. Give her the microphone. So I took the microphone and I said, how can I be a publisher like you? Because I want to spread this joy to the world. So she replied, she said, come down to the stage. So she said she wanted basically to help me. So she announced that she gave me the title for the youngest publisher in the UAE. So from there, I was the youngest publisher in the UAE. But I was like, how am I supposed to be a publisher if I haven't written a book? So that day, the next day when I came back home, I was like, opening my journal, let's write a book.
Look at you.
So I wrote my first book. I had an idea, which is basically talking about how I started my business, Rainbow Chimney. I think it was a great time that I had there. And not to mention that actually also my siblings have Guinness World Records. And inshallah also my little brother, who's 1.5 years old, turning 2. His name is Khalifa. So I hope he does write a book and get a Guinness World Records. Like my siblings, Maha and Saeed. Saeed is 5 years old and Maha is 4 years old. Saeed has written 2 books and he has a Guinness World Record for the youngest publisher to write a bilingual, for the youngest male publisher to write a book series. And the other one is the same thing but without series. I think it's really hard to remember sometimes.
It's okay.
Okay. My sister has got a Guinness World Record for the youngest female publisher to write a book series. And also same like my brother, also not series. So they've both written like 2 books. Saeed has 2 Guinness World Records, and I think Maha has 1 or 2 Guinness World Records.
MashaAllah.
Wow.
You guys are a family of scholars.
They are scholars, and Honestly, you're inspiring us, Alabi. You really are.
I hope so.
You really are. No,
because
you
like
really are.
personally, I like reading. I enjoy reading, but it's so hard for me to sit and like read a book. Do you have any like words of wisdom or advice to encourage people to start reading?
I think the first thing that you can focus on is basically what you love to read or the type of books that you love to read. And while you're going into that, maybe you can read about how to learn about this topic or what is it about. There's basically for me 3 steps to get into like reading something maybe I don't like or maybe something that I'm not really interested to. Firstly, I would read about it, but like a kid's book or something interactive or fun. I'd usually write about a comic about it first. And then I would go and read something about something related about it and how it started in history maybe. And then I would go and read actually about the book that I used not to like. So now maybe I like it and maybe I want to start learning more about this topic.
That's so
I mean, honestly, that's amazing. You are an inspiration. You inspired me. You inspired Farah.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you would look at that camera and give one last message, how can people find you and how can people actually reach to Rainbow Chimney?
I think the best way to contact me, firstly, go to my website. You will be able to talk to me on WhatsApp. You could write me an email or tell me maybe what you're interested in. Or if you would like maybe to even have your own book, own box for children. And if you wanted to give it to your children. And I think the best idea is if you would like to talk to me. I usually get like millions and billions even maybe people come and
look at
tell
you
me,
famous.
how can I write a book? And I'm telling them, take out of my pocket my business card. Here you go.
Okay.
Talk to me here. Tell me what you're thinking of. What do you want to write about? What are your ideas? What's in mind? I think that's basically what if you want like to tell me something or want to maybe even inspire me or tell me maybe information.
Wow.
I think it's amazing, honestly, because usually I have many children coming to me and saying, can I take a photo with you? How can I write a book? Can we do this? Can we maybe we can see each other? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I think if you would like to talk to me, you can talk to me on my email, on WhatsApp, on my business. And I think something that is a good information for you if you want to become an entrepreneur. I think it's that you follow your dreams and trust yourself. Because actually when I was really, really small, I didn't trust myself in anything. I used to call my mom and I was like, I can't do this. Can you take it for me? I'm scared. But now I'm like,
no more.
Over that.
You changed the game.
Over that.
And you made something that a lot of people can, gain a lot of knowledge from.
Yes.
I feel like that's the most impressive part.
Yes, well, thank you so much for joining us, ElHadidy. We love that you inspired us and you inspired everyone.
You can expect a call from us as well.
Yes, you
we
will.
want to write books.
You'll never know. You'll never know. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Farah. This brings us to the end of our show. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Goodbye from me.
Bye.
Bye.